On average, a person walks past 16 murders in their lifetime. That's 16 times, 16 chances, 16 moments in which you could be the next victim. You might not know it because these people look typical. They're your average Joe, and you shouldn't trust any of them because you might not know if they're a serial killer. The people I'm going to talk about today have committed some of the most heinous acts I've ever seen, and those people are Aileen Wuornos, John Wayne Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer. To really understand why these people did what they did, we need to look at their background. And to start off, we will be talking about Aileen. I know the most about Aileen because of the movie that was made about her, The Monster. It talks about what she did, who she did it with, who she killed, and why. But it left out a very important part, her childhood. According to biography.com, she was sexually abused as a child in Michigan before she was thrown out of her house and she moved down to Florida and she became a prostitute. There, she met Tyria Moore. She met her in 1986 and they were together for 4 years. Tyria suspected that Aileen had killed these men, but she did not want to know because she did not want to be an accessory to murder. Aileen did this just out of simple hatred, and it was nothing more than that. She had killed 7 men in 1989 and 1990 in Florida. She claims that they sexually abused her, but that was not the case. She entered their vehicle, waited a few minutes, and shot them at point-blank range. She claims it was self-defense. The police tracked her down using her ex-girlfriend, Tyria. They had her testify in court to put her behind bars, and Aileen died in 2002 of lethal injection. Moving on to a much scarier killer, a killer clown, John Wayne Gacy. He was normal except for his alter ego, which was the clown. He was known as Poe the Clown or Killer Clown, and when he would kill, he was always dressed as a clown, and he only killed boys because he struggled with his sexuality his entire life. According to author Liam Stack of the New York Times, he killed 33 young boys in the 70s and 80s. He would commit sexual acts, kill them, then bury them underneath his house. As seen in this photo, all the tags represent body parts that were found underneath his house. They found him underneath suspicion, and they had a search warrant and found all the bodies underneath there. While in prison for 15 years, he painted, and according to CNN.com, he often painted himself as Poe the Clown, and one of his paintings even sold for upwards of $20,000. He died of lethal injection in 1994 in Crest Hill, Illinois, and they are still identifying victims today. Lastly, it doesn't get much worse than this, and it is eating them. Jeffrey Dahmer was an insane killer. He wouldn't just kill them and leave them like the other two. He would eat them too. He had killed 17 men during his spree in 1978 through 1991. He would rape, kill, dismember, and save parts for consumption. As seen in this photo, these are human body parts. That is not beef, that is not chicken. Those are hands, feet, eyes, you name it, he ate it. He would often keep photos of his killings, and he was quoted on saying he wanted Hicks to stay, in which case Hicks was one of his victims. He was a very disturbing killer. He did this out of want, and he acted like he forgot after he had killed them. He had pled insanity in court, and according to crimemuseum.org, after 2 weeks in trial, he was no longer seen as insane, and he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. While in prison, he was attacked twice. The first time was a superficial cut to the neck, and the second time he was beaten in the shower, and he suffered major head trauma, and he died on the way to the hospital in 1994. In conclusion, these people aren't normal. They have sick minds and committed these horrible acts to innocent people that did not deserve what they got. And those acts were committed by Aileen Wuornos, John Wayne Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer. On average, there are 35 to 50 active serial killers in the United States at any given time. And who knows, you may have already walked past some of them.